Okay, welcome, Nick. I'm proud to have you here. BLRBOX's most famous player by far, the BLRBOX GOAT, having secured a couple of awesome opportunities through the platform, both of them in Australia. I was thinking, why don't you take us through your little journey so far, having used BLRBOX, and also your football journey before that, and how you've got to the point that you're at now playing in Melbourne and getting paid to play football down under.
Yeah, man. So it started last season. I was looking for a club, obviously with the help of Elliot and through Soccer Smart and everything. I got introduced to BLRBOX, and
Mm,
that's where I made an account, and from there, I was able to see what clubs are looking for strikers, which is my position, obviously. I was able to see any opportunities that are coming up, and from there, It was up to me to reach out to the club to have a proper video, to look like a legit footballer. So
mm,
that's where I started to reach out to several different clubs. Um, and with that being said, I think it's important also to mention that not all clubs, not all people are going to always get back to you, which is, it could be a bit discouraging sometimes, but it's definitely not a sign to give up. You need to
mm,
really just, trust the process and um, really just, like I said again, trust the process and hope that everything falls into place. And once that correct opportunity comes, that's when it's all going to fall into place. And yeah, so last year I was looking to go to Australia, obviously, and there was a club called Estates Football Club, which is based in northern Queensland. They were
mm.
looking for a striker. That's where I got in touch with the president of the club, and it all happened pretty quickly. There wasn't much talk of anything really happening, and then before I knew it, within a couple of weeks, I had agreed to terms with this club, and I had signed for the upcoming season in Northern Queensland, and that brought me to the Townsville was the name of the city last year,
Okay.
and I had an amazing season, both on and off the pitch. I really enjoyed myself. I ended up getting the Golden Boot last season, which was something I was really happy about. And from there, that just gave me other opportunities this year for 2023. It's gotten me a move to Melbourne now, so I'm going to a bit of a bigger city, maybe a better club, higher level. So,
Hmm.
for that, I'm really grateful for BLRBOX and everything. And again, it after my season ended last year, I got right back on the platform. I had clubs now messaging me that were keeping track of me and everything, so I had a bit more noise about me. I
Mm,
kind of made a name for myself in Australia, so it was kind of falling into place. So it's not always going to happen so quickly. That's in football, it doesn't happen overnight. That's something I've learned as well throughout all these years of playing in various different countries and having different clubs and contracts.
mm.
But once that right opportunity does come, it's important that you take it, and most importantly, it's important that you're well prepared. And I think that's what give credit to myself for that. I've always been ready to go wherever that may be. Um, I'm 27 now, so I just want to play as long as I can. I know I can't play forever,
Mm.
and yeah, so I'm just looking as long as I can keep playing, keep getting some contracts, keep getting some coaching in the contracts and everything. I'm going to keep playing and keep living my dream.
Yeah. And I think a key point that you mentioned along with that is you really took that into your own hands when it came to
Of
finding a
course, yeah,
club. You were very persistent. You were willing to take, I guess you could see them as rejections when people don't reply, but you could take these moments which could be discouraging to someone who maybe doesn't have as strong of a mindset or that kind of willingness to really succeed. And I guess it's also
definitely.
reflected in the way that you play as well, being a striker who clearly likes to take the responsibility of scoring goals for your team into your own hands, and it's awesome to see. How important do you think it is to have that level of character to really take responsibility, whether it's on the pitch or also, like you're saying, using BLRBOX to find a club and being persistent?
Definitely. Yeah, bro. I think you mentioned it just there. It's a mentality thing because
Mm,
whether you're on the pitch or off the pitch, doing your job on the pitch, or you know, uh, looking for that next opportunity off the pitch, it's all a mentality thing. It's very easy to get discouraged in football. It's a very brutal business.
mm,
You really need to love what you're doing. You really need to trust the process. I keep saying that, but it's just so true. And
mm,
yeah, it may not be anything against you if the club gets back to you, or maybe they're just not looking for your position. Maybe they've moved on. Maybe they found something else. But that's just one club. You have to look at it that way. There's so many clubs out there that could be looking for a player like you that it could work out. And that's where you need to trust the process, and you really need to just keep going, keep working hard, keeping your head grounded, and knowing that the right opportunity, when it does come, you just have to be ready to take it. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm sure that, like you mentioned, your previous playing experience in a range of different countries in Spain and Serbia and the US as well helped with your approach and having that really steadfast mentality to go in and finding clubs.
Definitely. So after I graduated high school in the States, I was 18 and I went over to Italy.
Mm,
And that was where I signed my first professional contract in Italy. I was there for one season. After that, I went to Slovenia. I was there for 1 year. And then I
mm,
spent 1 year in Germany. So this all made me, it made me have to grow up pretty quickly. It made me have to mature both on the field and off the pitch as well.
mm,
And I credit that to the strong mentality that I have today. It really shaped me as the person I am today, but also as the footballer that I am today.
mm.
Dealing with maybe some sort of rejections, dealing with a lot of complications, whether that was with my visa, whether that was with my signing, whether that was with my maybe not making the most money right away. It's all a process, like I keep saying. And as long as you just keep working hard, you keep putting your faith in it, and you just really have to be positive. It's the mindset, like you said. That's the most important thing. And most importantly, you really need to enjoy what you're doing. If you're not enjoying it, then there's really no point of doing it. And I
Yeah.
mean, I think every second of this journey I've enjoyed more than I could, so more than I can ever imagine. So for that, I'm just really thankful.
Yeah, there's an important aspect there of understanding that balance between how much work it takes and taking accountability and responsibility for putting in that work, but also knowing that it's a goal that you find a lot of enjoyment in the process of working towards.
Definitely, yeah.
What would you say are the differences? Because that's quite a unique experience playing in Germany, Italy, Spain, Slovenia, like you mentioned, the US. Now you're in Australia. What going across all of those different countries, what would you say are the differences between the players who are successful in the end and the players who don't quite make the cut?
I think it's the mentality thing that we both mentioned, that we both touched on.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of players, a lot of youth players, a lot of promising youth players that they had all the skills that they needed, but the attitude maybe wasn't there, and that really cut their career short. And then I've also
Mm,
seen players that maybe weren't the most technically gifted, weren't the most talented players, but they had a really strong mentality, and they just weren't going to take no for an answer. And even if they
mm,
were told no, they kept going, they kept pushing, and they made a career for themselves. So I think
mm.
the most important thing once it comes to men's football is your mentality. Because at this level, everyone can play. You give somebody a ball, everyone can play. Everyone has a decent technical ability.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what they're doing on the pitch. It's just what really separates them is the head, is the mindset.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I want to take it back a little bit. I want to go back to asking you just about just over a year ago now, when you first moved to Australia from Europe, where you were for a good amount of time. What was
Mhm.
that process like? Because obviously, I guess it might have been a little easier given the fact that you had already come from the US to Europe. You'd moved countries a number of times, but it's quite a big distance to go, literally the other side of the world. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, definitely. I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity arise in Australia, and I had talks with Elliot as well throughout when I first met him, that he had some clubs over there that he can eventually send me to. So I knew
Mm,
that it was always in my mind. It was always at the back of my head. But I like to really focus on my football wherever I am, and then I try not to think of the future too much. I try just to think of the place I'm at, try to live in the moment, and really try to concentrate on my football. But once that opportunity did arise, it was I knew right away I wanted to take it. I spoke to my parents and my family about it as well. Um,
mm.
you know, it's one thing going to Europe, and then it's another thing going to Australia. It's double the distance, double the
Yeah.
time difference, everything. So, it took a bit of getting used to in the beginning, but with football every single day, with my training, with my season, it was a good way to keep my mind off everything. And at the end of the day, I'm just playing football, so I'm very happy, and I couldn't be more blessed.
Yeah. I like what you said there a lot as well about focusing on your kind of process, your preparation. There's that classic phrase of success equals preparation plus opportunity, right? And there's no point in getting opportunities if you're not prepared, and that's clearly something that you've done really well wherever you're at. But for the players who are a little bit more interested in that opportunity side of it, what was the process like for you on the website using BLRBOX? Like, did it take a while from setting up your profile, messaging clubs to then going to Australia? Was the process quite quick? Was there anything that you'd give advice to players about in terms of setting up their profile to have the most amount of success using the service as possible?
I think I started getting replies quite quickly, and then
Mm,
obviously I think it's important to tell the guys also, you're not gonna always get the best offer right away, so it's really important not to just jump. I know if you're a free agent and you're just looking for that club, the first offer, okay, yeah, I want to take it, but you really need to calm down. You really need to think about it, because this is a big decision at the end of the day that you're making, to go to a different country for a whole year to
mm,
play and everything. And then the last thing you want to do is to accept something and then another club comes back at you with a better offer. So I think it's important to really take your time with everything. I know it could be easier said than done, because trust me, I've been there where I've been a free agent and I really wanted to just accept the next deal that I got. But
mm,
again, that's where I'm very lucky that I have a good support system with my parents and my family. They kept me, they helped keep my mind sharp. They helped keep my mentality right.
mm,
And yeah, it was all process. It happened pretty quickly, I would say.
mm.
I started getting replies right away. Now, were they the best offers right away? No. So that's why I continued to wait it out. I continued to contact other clubs. Other clubs started contacting me. And then once I had a few really good offers on the table, I started separating it from there until I ultimately, made my decision.
Mm. And what was that moment like, knowing that you had signed? Was that your first paid football contract down in Australia?
No, I in my previous contracts in Europe, I was also getting paid, but
Mm,
this was the first one where I was getting paid, but I was also getting paid as well. I had a couple of youth teams in our youth academy, so
mm,
that I was really happy about that as well. Obviously, because like I said before, I can't play forever, and once I
mm.
do finish playing, that is something that I would like to go into, the coaching side of things. So I think it's important to get as much experience as you can. So it really keeps me busy while I'm there. I have my training with my team. I have my games. I have my matches. I have all my activities. But then I also have my coaching. I have that a few times a week. I have a couple matches with the kids throughout the week.
Mm.
So I'm very busy, but it's good to be busy. It keeps your mind off things. It keeps you going. It keeps a positive mindset. So I can't complain there.
100%.
Definitely,
And
yes.
it's clear that even as you're still playing and still pushing on to have probably, I'm assuming, at least 5 more years playing football at a similar level, or if not higher, with the way that you've been scoring, you're clearly preparing as well for the next stage as well, and just going
Definitely.
back to that point of making sure that you're ready and you're doing everything you can. Just out of interest, why did you choose to use a platform like BLRBOX and go about it yourself rather than trying to find an agent? Was it just the idea of having the control and having the contact with the clubs yourself?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing you said. Just it's on you. You can't just expect agents or clubs or people to reach out to you and give you all these amazing offers. Maybe sometimes it works like that, but a lot of the time it's on you to
Mm,
really. I like to use the word hustle. You really need to go out of your way. You really need to go and you need to make it happen for yourself. If
yeah,
you're not going to make it happen for yourself, then nobody else is. So
yeah.
I think that's the main thing for that. And BLRBOX really makes it's very straightforward. It's easy. It's simple to use. I think it's a fantastic platform for players, but also for clubs looking for players. So I think
Mm.
it's a win-win for both.
So knowing that process, kind of what clubs are looking for, how to be successful as a player, um, how would you recommend a player sets up their profile in terms of the bio, in terms of filling out information? Would you say is a key thing to really getting noticed by the clubs?
I think it's important. I think the main thing is having a good video. whether that is and a recent video as well. They don't want to. Clubs don't really want to see video from 4 or 5 years ago. They want the most recent footage that you can have. Obviously, not in today's time. I think everyone can make a video. There's no excuse really.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. Also, having a bio, really try to describe yourself as a footballer, as a player, and everything. Try to get all the right information in there. And then again, as we touched on before, then it's up to you. You need to go then send out your video or maybe make a CV or some type of resume of your playing career before. And then it's on you to get that information out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said earlier, being brave, being willing to put yourself out there and not allowing any kind of rejection or any form of failure to deter you from going after your goal.
Of course, if I let the first rejection get out of my way, I would have stopped playing when I was, a kid. So
yeah,
that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, that's football and that's life as well.
That's football, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, obviously, it's only the start of the new season in Australia. I don't think you've even kicked off in Australia yet. But I was wondering, what are your kind of thoughts, goals, hopes moving forwards? Obviously, had an amazing season last year, getting the Golden Boot, being the top scorer. What are your thoughts for the future?
Yeah, we have preseason kicking off in 2 weeks. So I'm heading out in just about 7 days now. So just about a week exactly. Last year I had around this time, I told all my family and my mates back home, I'm going for the Golden Boot this year. And that's, I was fortunate that it happened. I'm telling them the same things this year. So I'm going to go for that again. That's something I've always done. I've always scored goals wherever I've been. So, I think I take that responsibility and I put it all on my shoulders to score goals, to lead the team, to be the first line of defense, to do everything I can to help my team win matches. That being said, last year we did not end up making the grand finals, which in Australia they make the top four make the kind of like a playoffs, the grand finals. So that's also something that I put at the top of my list, really, to play some finals football, to finish top four, and then to see what happens after that. I think we have a good team. We have a good group of guys, from what I heard, and I'm just really looking forward to getting out there, getting started, and it's going to be a special 2023 season. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, and I'll be looking forward to following it from afar as well. Just before we finish up, Nick, is there anything final you would like to say to anyone else who's thinking of using BLRBOX, who's on the platform at the moment, or just any footballer in general? Just some words from your own experience and from your own side of things.
Yeah, football is a brutal business, as I said before. It comes with a lot of ups and a lot of downs. It comes with the highest of the highs. It also comes with the lowest of the lows. I think it's important to know you can't let your highs be so high, and you can't let your lows be so low. That being said, if you win a match, go out, celebrate. Everything's good, but you need to act like you've been there before. And then vice versa. If you go on, you lose a match, maybe you don't play your best performance, you have to understand that's football. It happens to everyone. And the beauty of the game is there's always next week. You always have training, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, and you just have to get right back to work. There's you really have to have a short-term memory loss to be a footballer at this level. So I think that's important to note. Anyone on the platform or looking, maybe trying to use the platform, maybe thinking about using the platform, all I can say is that it's 100% worth it. It's very easy to use, very simple. There's a number of different clubs on there that are constantly looking for players. And again, you can't just expect to make an account and for all these teams to message you and all these amazing offers. That's not how it works. You really need to put your name out there. You need to put yourself out there. And then ultimately, when those offers do come in, you need to make a decision. So I would also suggest not rushing into making a decision too soon. Really take in all the information, do all the research that you can, and go from there. And then ultimately, it's on you. It's your decision to make.
I think those are some great words, and I hope the people who are listening, the people who are watching, will take those and apply them to their own game, apply them to their own lives, and and hopefully see success in the same way that you've done. It's been a pleasure, Nick. I appreciate
Thanks, mate.
the time that
Appreciate
you
it.
spent, and
Of course. Thank you for having me.
hope you get another golden boot this year. All the quality
Yes,
to
bro.
do so, all the
Appreciate it.
work rate and perseverance to do so. So
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sure it's
Thank you.
coming. All the
Appreciate it,
best.
mate.